Rooftop pools and infinity edges. They are the ultimate status symbol, oases of luxury perched high above the world, promising breathtaking views and perfect Instagram moments. But there's a dark side to these high-rise playgrounds. The very things that make them so alluring, the height, the open edges, the illusion of floating on air, also make them incredibly dangerous. When you mix alcohol, ego, and a desperate need for social media validation with a sheer drop of several hundred feet, you get a recipe for disaster. Today, we're diving into the deep end of dumb to uncover the most stupid pool and rooftop deaths ever recorded. Case 1. The Statue Walk. Our first case takes us to the Instagram paradise of Bali, where the pursuit of the perfect photo led to a horrific and entirely preventable death. In November 2022, an American tourist, identified only by her initials CML, was staying at a luxury villa near Ubud with a friend. The villa's main attraction was a stunning infinity pool that seemed to float above a deep jungle ravine. It was the kind of place designed for social media envy. One evening, after a few drinks, CML and her friend were playing in the pool. The staff had already warned them not to climb or walk on the narrow decorative ledge that ran along the infinity edge. But CML, laughing and wanting to make a dramatic entrance, decided to ignore the warning. She tried to walk along the slippery statue-adorned ledge to enter the pool from the view side. Witnesses heard her laughing one moment, and then a sudden, chilling silence, followed by a scream. She had slipped on the wet stone, lost her grip, and plunged 15 meters into the concrete and water below. She was found crumpled and broken, with catastrophic injuries, but was somehow still breathing. She died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. It was a death that was as stupid as it was tragic. She had been explicitly warned about the danger, but chose to risk her life for a playful stunt. The incident sparked a debate in Bali about the safety of these aesthetic pools, with police investigating whether the hotel was liable for not having proper safety fences. But no fence can protect you from your own terrible judgment. Case 2. The Rooftop Gap. From the tropical paradise of Bali, we head to the concrete jungle of New York City, where the rooftop party scene claimed another young life. In May 2021, 24-year-old Cameron Pirelli, a bright young finance worker who was, by all accounts, living the dream, was at a crowded, quasi-legal rooftop party in the East Village. The party had spilled across the rooftops of several adjacent buildings, with revelers casually stepping or jumping from one roof to another, 6 stories above the unforgiving pavement. At around 3 a.m, in the darkness and chaos of the party, Cameron attempted to cross the gap between 2 buildings. It's a move that hundreds of others were likely making that night. Casual leap of faith, fueled by alcohol, and a sense of youthful invincibility. But Cameron misjudged the distance. Her foot found only empty air, and she plunged into the narrow alleyway below. Witnesses heard a scream, and then the sickening thud of her body hitting the ground. She was killed instantly. Her family was devastated, insisting that their smart, cautious daughter would never have taken such a risk. But the reality is that rooftop jumping had become a normalized and incredibly stupid part of the city's party culture. Officials blamed the lack of barriers and the overcrowding, but the ultimate responsibility lies with the simple, fatal decision to treat a 6-story drop as a casual hurdle. It was a tragic end to a young life, and a brutal reminder that the laws of gravity don't care if you're having a good time. Case 3. The Rotten Railing. Just 1 month after the Statue Walk death, another tourist died in a shockingly similar incident in Bali, highlighting a deadly pattern of negligence in the island's luxury villa industry. In December 2022, a 37-year-old tourist, identified as J.A., was staying at another upscale villa near Ubud. This one featured a high wooden pool deck with a railing that offered stunning views of a 20-meter-deep ravine. She was doing what countless tourists do every day, standing near the railing, taking in the view, perhaps posing for a photo. She leaned against the wooden railing, trusting it to hold her weight. But the wood, likely rotten and poorly maintained, suddenly splintered and collapsed. With nothing to grab onto, she fell silently into the ravine below. Rescue teams had to navigate the steep, treacherous terrain to reach her. They found her alive, but with horrific, life-threatening injuries. Like CML before her, she died on the way to the hospital. This wasn't a case of a tourist making a stupid decision. This was a case of a business cutting corners on safety with fatal consequences. The railing was a safety feature that failed catastrophically. The incident prompted another police investigation into the safety standards of Bali's rental villas, but for J.A., it was too late. Her death was a grim testament to the fact that sometimes the most beautiful places hide the deadliest secrets, and a reminder that you should never, ever trust a rickety railing. Case 4. The electric water. This next case is the stuff of nightmares, a death so sudden and silent that its victims had no chance to even scream for help. In January 2026, an Argentine family was on vacation at a swanky resort in Mexico. The mother, 43-year-old Silvina Helfstein, and her 11-year-old son, Arthur, decided to go for a swim in the hotel's rooftop pool while the father stayed behind. It was a casual evening swim, a seemingly innocent way to end a day in paradise. But when the father went to join them a short time later, he was met with a scene of unimaginable horror. His wife and son were floating, face down, and motionless, in the water. Other guests, risking their own lives, jumped in to pull them out. But it was no use. They had been electrocuted. A faulty underwater light had turned the entire pool into a death trap, sending a lethal current through the water. The moment they touched the water, their muscles would have seized, their hearts would have stopped, and they would have slipped silently below the surface. It was a freak accident, but one that was entirely preventable. A properly maintained pool should have multiple safety features, like GFCI devices, to prevent exactly this kind of tragedy. The incident sparked a criminal investigation into the hotel for negligence. For the Helfstein family, their dream vacation had turned into a waking nightmare, a horrifying reminder that danger can lurk in the most unexpected of places, and that even the most luxurious amenities can hide a deadly flaw. Case 5. The Rooftoppers Fall. Our next case is a classic example of a deadly trend, known as rooftopping, where photographers and thrill-seekers illegally access high-rise rooftops to capture dramatic, vertigo-inducing photos. In October 2017, a 44-year-old man was at the London House Hotel in Chicago, home to a popular rooftop bar with stunning views of the city. But the man wasn't there for the cocktails. He was there for the shot. He bypassed security and climbed onto a narrow parapet wall on the 20th floor, high above the bar area. He was positioning himself to get the perfect, unauthorized photo of the Chicago skyline when he lost his balance. He fell 14 stories, landing on a 6th-floor rooftop below. He was killed instantly. It was a death that was as predictable as it was stupid. He had no safety gear, no permission, and no business being on that narrow ledge. He was another victim of the deadly pursuit of online validation, a man who valued a photo more than his own life. The incident was part of a growing and incredibly dangerous trend of rooftopping that has claimed lives all over the world. These are people who are literally dying for likes, trading their safety for a fleeting moment of internet fame. It's a game with the highest possible stakes, And for this photographer in Chicago, it was a game he lost in the most brutal way imaginable. Case 6. The glass wall. This next case is a miracle in that no one was killed, but it is a terrifying and visually stunning example of how spectacularly these rooftop attractions can fail. In August 2022, at a luxury resort in Curaçao, a newlywed couple and several other guests were enjoying a party in a bi-level, glass-fronted infinity pool. The pool was the resort's crown jewel, an Instagrammer's dream that offered panoramic views of the Caribbean Sea. But the party was too popular. Too many people crowded against the glass panels, putting an immense amount of pressure on the structure. Suddenly, with a sickening crack, one of the massive glass panels vanished. A tsunami of water and people erupted from the side of the pool, sweeping swimmers over the edge and 30 meters down onto the beach below. The viral video of the incident is pure chaos, a wall of water and flailing bodies cascading down the side of the building. Miraculously, no one died, but several people were injured, including the newlyweds. Police later determined that the glass simply failed under the weight of too many people. It was a catastrophic design failure, a case of a resort prioritizing stunning visuals over robust engineering. The incident served as a stark warning to the entire industry about the dangers of these glass-walled pools, and a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful designs are also the most fragile. Case 7. The Acrobat's misstep. Our final case is a story steeped in tragic irony. In May 2025, Veronika Kobzova, a 28-year-old professional acrobat from Ukraine, was on holiday in Phuket, Thailand. She had just arrived at a luxury villa with a rooftop pool. As an acrobat, her body was her instrument. She possessed a level of balance, grace, and physical awareness that most of us can only dream of. But that night, after a few beers with friends, she made a fatal miscalculation. In the early hours of the morning, she was larking about on the narrow, unguarded edge of the rooftop pool. It was a dangerous game, but for a professional acrobat, it probably felt like a walk in the park. But the edge was wet, she was intoxicated, and in a split second, her world-class balance failed her. She slipped and fell several meters to the ground below. She suffered severe head injuries and was pronounced dead at the hospital less than an hour later. Her death was a shocking reminder that no amount of skill or training can protect you from a stupid decision. Alcohol impairs judgment, and a wet, narrow ledge high above the ground is a deadly hazard, whether you're an acrobat or an accountant. Her family was left to mourn a woman who had spent her life mastering the art of defying gravity, only to be killed by a simple, drunken misstep. It was a tragic and deeply ironic end to a life full of grace and skill. From the idyllic shores of Bali to the bustling rooftops of New York, these stories paint a grim picture of what happens when luxury and stupidity collide. They are cautionary tales of ignored warnings, flawed designs, and the fatal consequences of chasing a thrill or a photo. These pools and rooftops, designed to be symbols of the high life, became the final backdrop for someone's worst decision. They serve as a stark reminder that the higher you climb, the harder you fall, and that no view is worth dying for.